8MYM593. It's currently 6:51 a.m. It's February 21st, 2021. This is a group stalker sitting in their van, and he's the one that is on camera inside of Stater Brothers, engaged in what is the sexual assault battery, that sexual violence, which is inherent to the pattern of cognitive monitoring. He's in license plate 5GBM185. It's a Latino male. He's got on a black beanie, a black and white bandana around his neck, a black mustache. He's got on black gloves on his hands, and he had on what is a red jacket. He gets into a white van that's in the front of the Stater Brothers parking lot, and I'm referencing the cameras right now. You want to be clear, the group stalkers, the employees and the patrons alike, that's the amplification of the train in the background. That's noise, combined with what is the state's light source directly over the venue. This is the fake sun at this time in the morning, which is aiming light, again, underneath the shaded area. There's shadows appearing on the walls as they're walking back and forth. The state aiming wall onto the wall opposite of the restroom, which is the immediate environment of the target individual. This is sexual violence, while they're all listening in real time, using the shopping carts as noise under the state's light source. Impossible light activity while that group stalker, that sex offender, is driving past. That's intentional conduct, okay? And that is the people of the state of California engaged in that corporate conduct. He's just seen visibly, and he's specifically documented to be prosecuted. Of that same group, Stater Brothers employees and patrons alike, who are all here under the fake sun. The state aiming the light onto the walls. Understand, I'm being monitored when I am physically indisposed inside of that bathroom, listening to everything I'm doing. The state creating audible activity. That group stalker, while he's in the bathroom, which is supposed to be the means by which I'm hearing loud noises and booms and water through the walls, that's called audible activity. Under that which is not the sun. Okay, while they are at the registers walking through the store, all of them listening. Okay, that's what the cameras don't see, is what they are aware of while they are present. Okay, that's P.O.C. While the fake sun is over this grocery store that they're shopping and working in, this is how the public entity monitors you. I'm going to go ahead and take images of what is light activity directed underneath the shaded area of the grocery store from that which is not the sun. While you have I took a picture of what is the employee. She's patrolling back and forth in front of the door. That's called relevant positioning. Okay, and she's doing so intentionally. She's aware of what I'm doing. She's monitoring on the opposite side of the store. She's inside in relevant position monitoring, and she's doing so with a broom in her hand. That's a mere prop. That's monitoring. Okay, this is Stater Brothers. This is the state's fake sun. Let's get it. Now, as far as documentation goes, we have at the beginning of the day the state aiming light into and underneath the structure of this building at 646 West Holt Boulevard. We have in the afternoon the state aiming light underneath the structure of this building while their shadows are appearing on both sides of the walls as they're walking inside of the store, which is impossible to occur but for light being aimed horizontally in both directions for their shadows to appear, because that's not coming from a sun that is directly over the building where you're not going to have light underneath the structure. You certainly are not going to have shadows appearing on the walls. This is P.O.C. This is the state, as I've already documented, aiming light in multiple directions, including that which is concentrated onto the environment by a fake sun. This is what they're all engaged in together. While they don't have to speak a word, they don't have to address you, and they're monitoring you. They're stalkers. They are vicariously stalking on behalf of this entity that's stalking with the light source. 7BWC1918NML420-938-37R2. Raoul's Tire Service with license plate 31913C1 and Safeguard Patrol on Demand. Understand, all of them sitting under the same light source, monitoring with communication devices, irrespective of the vehicle you're driving in or what outward activity you appear to be engaging. You're creating audible and visible activity in relevant position, and intentionally so, under a state's light source. Okay, that's P.O.C. Where 7BWC191 is moving her vehicle north, south, east, or west, never is there going to be the light activity which is resulting while these psychopaths drive by, light shooting all the way across and to the tops of the Stater Brothers building, which is the behavioral pattern for monitoring. All right, that's a sex offender, that's a psychopath, that is a group stalker. All right, and that is acting with the state that is creating this environment, that is acting in concert with them while they're present. Okay, they are. It is currently, again, it is 6:55 a.m. and I am referencing the cameras. Okay. That is a part of my documentation. As I go in the store, you're looking at their presence, and what you are mindful of is the fact that they are monitoring, they're aware of what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and that is informing everything that they're doing from where they're standing, from what activity they engage in, whatever activity that is created, it's intentionally so. While, mind you, you are aware that the state's fake sun is over their venue. All right? So this is how you are stripping past what is holding a broom, walking back and forth. You're recognizing that as patrolling conduct, and it's intentional. That's the malice with which this psychopath, sex offender, and stalker monitors. All right, I want to get this group stalker because they were sitting in the car as I walked up. 8C34398. And a public entity monitors you, includes maintenance in the path, in and around the path. So group stalkers are there before you're going. Okay, that's monitoring. 3WPK794. This is license. Oh yeah, I read that one already. This is an employee to 8C34398. All right, driving west in the parking lot, parking right here. Under the state's fake sun, they create light activity, they're in relevant position, and they create audible activity. 8TB and 745. It is currently 6:57 a.m. and I just wanted to capture that. This is in sync with everything else I've already documented, but I just want to show this is at all times of the day now. This is based on where I am. That's what it is, because that's not the sun, clearly. That is remaining directly over me. And that is aiming light on the same areas all day long while it's directly present. That's called stalking with light. That is what a public entity is doing while it is monitoring you with communication devices, and massively so in concert with the people of that state. All right? This is why you have what is light underneath the structure, which is supposedly coming from the sun, which is aiming over the parking lot. Understand that's noise while that group stalker walks out in relevant position under the state's light source. That's all three elements right there. And that's what they're all doing together systematically. Group stalking in the grocery store. I've already shown this. They are literally maintaining presence in and around your path in the grocery store. They're stalking with uniforms on. They're stalking as they're maintaining presence inside of that venue. That's P.O.C. All right, the patrol is getting out of his vehicle, smoking a cigarette, engaging in the same monitoring conduct, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and capture this because this is the light activity that is present all day long, and you have the state aiming, which what's not present, but now you've got lines of light. That's supposed to be light shooting through, I don't know, a grocery cart or something, but that is not the sun. You've got, what is it right now? 6:58 a.m. and the state's fake sun is directly over me while I'm at what is 435 venue, and it is over the side where I capture the tree trimmer, creating that substantial noise under the fake sun. That's where the state's fake sun is at 435 South Venue at this time, but it's right here aiming light underneath the structure at 646 West Holt Boulevard. That's Mercy House, and that's just one example. The state's fake sun rising and setting at Woodside Senior Apartments. The state's fake sun at this time, I'm sorry, not only remaining inside of the window, the same exact window as I am in motion, on transportation, it's remaining in the same place, and then remaining present directly over me every store that I walk to in Ontario Mills. And this is the state's fake sun that is present everywhere that I go, remaining at all times of the day, including at this time at Ontario Town Square, not over the parking lot, creating lines underneath the structure, creating shadows on the walls such that third-party group stalker to patrol in and out, walk inside, patrolling, understand, in camera, at the registers. They are engaging in relevant positioning as well, okay? This is beyond my immediate environment. I'm describing to you what I am seeing, what I'm witnessing for purposes of not only prosecution, but exposing how a public entity monitors and how it is sexually violent, psychopath, demented conduct. It is demonic, all right, but it is criminal, and this is the exposure of that system, the tactics that it engages in, and you're seeing how it is not rocket science at all. It's not even intelligent. They are literally desperate criminals who are invested. Understand, since I haven't been documenting second by second of everything that's occurring because I have already established my case and my documentation is complete, these psychopaths are just sitting openly because they know that I'm documenting. When I have my phone on, when I'm reading off license plates, they keep a distance. They are still stalking, they're still lining the path, they're still stalking with light, but when I don't have that phone on, that psychopath BJ71P90, she walked out of Stater Brothers, African American, I believe, some olive-skinned female with a ponytail and red and jewelry mask. The patrol vehicle monitoring using a company vehicle 6SYS 653 800-640-2327, safeguard on demand. That's the vehicle information on that. For the security guard that's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring inside of Ontario Village Shopping Plaza, acting with the rest of the people of the state of California. So, like I said, engaging in that which is brazen and desperate. It's pathetic, okay? They're literally exposed to stalkers. They've heard the truth about themselves, and when these are the animals that they are when I don't have my phone on, and when they think they're safe because I'm not reading off their license plates, and they're just lining up their cars, stalking, just openly stalking, engaging in the exact conduct that I have already described, that I've documented. That is described as the behavioral pattern, because that's exactly what it is. It is stalking. It is stalking by a group. It is stalking by a group that knows exactly who you are. That's why they are maintaining presence in your path together, and they're manning the path, if you will. You've got one after another that makes sure that you are always surrounded at all times. And the state is always stalking by aircraft. That conduct has not stopped. This is what prefaces a public entity's monitoring conduct. They are acting in concert with that entity that is operating that system. And they're doing this day and night. So anyway, the significance of this is to capture this light activity. This is early in the morning. This is in the evening, where the state is engaged in this exact same conduct, okay? And this is light activity which is never occurring. It is that which the state is never going to be able to document and establish as actually occurring by nature from the actual sun at this time of day, right, in a court of law. That is the significance of aiming light. This group stalker that's exiting right now, he creates light activity just by walking past. All right, this is the ease with which psychopaths can engage in criminal activity and outwardly conduct themselves as they're some honorable elder, and they're not. They're sex offender, all right, molesting with the state because they're monitoring with the state. That's touching all over me with its light source. They're engaging and crossing a path intentionally for that criminal purpose of monitoring, knowing exactly what they're accomplishing under that light as they are maintaining presence in the path. This is corporate group conduct. It is criminal, and it is sexually violent, all right? They are stalkers. And with knowledge, because they have heard and continue to hear the truth spoken about themselves, while they are engaged in what is futile, defeated efforts of that continuing conduct. All right, and that is light activity underneath the shaded structure here. That's underneath on my backpack on the bench beside what is the, this would be the east entrance, and this is light activity from what is supposed to be the state's sun right over here. Understand, the state's fake sun is not only engaged in ongoing movement as I'm coming from the museum. This is the state maintaining presence right now because I've turned on a camera, right? Because I have started documenting, even though it is already established. The state's fake sun, which is aiming light over in this direction, is going to remain over me as I'm at the library all day long at that structure, but not concerned about that being documented, as though that is natural at all, and it's not. Okay, 6TUL 769, 8CEF 187, both of them as they're crossing path, they're driving in opposite directions, the state amplifying that train as you hear. That's light, that's audible, that's crossing path, that's group stalking and monitoring. And they're doing so while also the state is creating light activity off of their vehicles. That which is also not occurring, that which the public entity is also not going to be able to demonstrate is ordinarily occurring from what is supposed to be the sun on the side of Ontario Village Shopping Plaza, in addition to every other place where it's already documented at that time and remaining all day long, okay? It's not remaining directly over Ontario Town Square all day long while it is quote unquote rising as I'm at Stater Brothers. Every single last one of them inside of Stater Brothers is monitoring me and doing so while inside of the bathroom. And understand that is specifically sexually violent conduct while you're monitoring via communication devices, and understand that that is routine with regard to the pattern of conduct. And that is what they are systematically engaged in. And Stater Brothers is just one example of what they are all doing everywhere that you go. It is corporate invasion of privacy. It's an unprecedented measure of violation of the privacy because in order to monitor, they are all maintaining real-time knowledge of what you're doing, where you're doing it, as you are doing it. This is how they are stalking with activity. This is how they are stalking by entity, because they are not coincidentally present engaging in a behavioral pattern. They're intentionally present engaging in a behavioral pattern. They're intentionally present under the state's light source. They're intentionally present where you have all manner of light activity, which is never naturally occurring whatsoever under any circumstances. It is currently 7:05 a.m. Group stalker on camera enters. She's got a hat on, a black hoodie. Understand, creating light activity in relevant position. This is P.O.C, all right? That's a psychopath and a sex offender. P.O.C. And I'm referencing the security cameras. It's 7:05 a.m. This is the coverage structure at the entrance of the store, and I'm taking a picture of what is my shadow. The state's light source, always precisely aimed in a location such that light is able to weasel its way in. That's called P.O.C. All right? Light activity on the ground as a group stalker walks up. I'm taking a picture of that because you're understanding what is monitoring. This is why you concentrate light on a venue, because they are engaging in, while they are maintaining group presence, what is naturally occurring is any movement under light, whether the state is placing that light or whether it's the actual light, whatever kind of light, naturally light activity occurs. You create a shadow, and that shadow is moving around. That's called light activity. All right, that's their engagement in monitoring right there. They're present, number one. Criminal element, number three. They're creating light activity, number two, and visible activity. As you can hear, audible activity as well. This is all intentional conduct, and this is prosecution for purposes of monitoring, and that is the prosecution of the people of the state of California acting in concert with that government. It's 7:06 a.m. Okay, that's P.O.C. All right, I have just exited the third-party facilitating venue of what is Stater Brothers, located at 646 West HOLT. I'm going to go ahead and document more third-party group stalkers, the people of the state of California, while I'm here. They're sitting around in their cars. 8 TBN 745. And I read that one already. 8 CEF 187. Light activity, relevant positioning, visible activity. 6 AMW 756. 3 W. Oh, I think I read that one already. 6 UOE 205. The entirety of this village is, or especially right here by Stater Brothers, they're armed with security cameras, and so the people of the state of California that are present at Ontario Village, this is the immediate environment where I'm at, again, prosecuting and understanding the extent to which they're monitoring with communication devices, which spans beyond this parking lot, is that which is not to remain a mystery. They are in their cars exiting the parking lot as they are aware that I'm reading license plates, by the way. 6ZXN 563, 8HMV 296, 8CLM 865, 8CRY 453, 8CO 2296, 8TBP 171, 7PLN 467, 32892K2, 8CHN 384, and BRO or D or BRDD. Hold on, let me see. BROD 477. And again, it's 7:20 a.m. Okay, 7DGW033. GQZ344, in case I didn't read that one. This is intentional audible activity under the state's light source. So everybody can monitor to that. 8B72788, 7CKC812, 7JQH968, 8BBX062, 79358C2, 7S29322, 7TZT3, I'm sorry, 7TZT361. 7KRX529, 7JBY518, 4SXH842, 7T480074, 5TZ3696, in case I didn't read that one. I read that one. 6 GKRO48. I want to get this license plate because I want to read. This is a commercial vehicle parked at Stater Brothers. License 79358C2. This is Alston Construction. State license number 759899. Alston Construction, they're monitoring. They are in relevant position, and they are here present with that and that agenda in mind, acting with every other third-party group stalker, identifying that company, which is also the identification of the people of the state of California and the guises under which they engage in presence and any activity creation. That third party driving that commercial vehicle, monitoring me to this audible activity under the state's fake sun. LB487, 3P60796. 8TVJ 801, 8LAG 196, 7WIC 939, 7CIX 155, 8NSB 909, 6PHX 799. And this third party that's walking around with literally a lawnmower on the asphalt, he was focused at the entrance area of the Stater Brothers as I walked out. As I walk now to the side of what is the Coin Laundry, he is now over here surrounding with audible activity. Understand that's called stalking with activity. All right, and it is not a coincidence. It is the means by which of third parties, that is the people of the state of California, how they monitor you, engaging in such conduct. That is 8NSB 909, 6PHX 799, 8NZJ 503, 7NVT 003, 6KLE 355, 8MYY 333, 4SGO 129, 8FST 271, 7EHW 156, 8DVX 033, 7AIN 937, and 7CIX 155, in case I didn't read that, and 8, yeah, I think I read this one, 8TVJ 801. Alrighty, it is 7:24 a.m. All right, it is 7:58 a.m. and I am back at the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library, standing on the side. What I'm taking pictures of is the light activity as the state is aiming what is light that it is called directed light. The state is literally placing light underneath the structure besides the library, and again, note the time, and this is the state's fake sun. As I've already captured, what I am doing is comparing it to that which has already been documented. Understand, not only is this location not where the state's light source is necessarily positioned in order to aim light what was underneath the structure at the entrance of the Stater Brothers, which is much more west of this location. And at San Antonio and HOLT, 646 West HOLT, that Stater Brothers, they were monitoring. That's why the state was aiming light in that direction. That's why the state's light source, which is a fake sun, this is not actually the sun, this is a light source in the sky that the state is literally dragging around, keeping in relevant position to me, concentrating light all around me, while the people of the state of California and the state, the public entity itself, engages in ongoing group stalking, presence in the path, that's how you monitor, and ongoing activity creation, i.e. the train, okay? This is the state's light source, which is, this is the senior center. I'll go ahead and take a picture of that right now. And again, this is 8 a.m. You want to compare this to anything that I've already documented. I'll just go back to a couple days ago. The latest images that I took were Mercy House at 435 South Bonneview were monitoring me in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. They are engaged in the malicious criminal system, acting in concert as the people of the state of California at that venue, monitoring me where the state's light source was directly over that venue, as I clearly captured, while they employed what are third-party group stalkers using their trade and for what is the presence and ongoing substantial audible activity under the state's light source, which, by the way, at the same exact time was positioned directly over the gate as I captured that group stalker that was trimming a tree under the state's fake sun, which you can see it clear in its zenith, centered right over me at the laundromat area of the 435 South Bonneview property. This is the state's conduct of stalking with this light source remaining directly over me. At Stater Brothers, this venue right here over the senior center is not going to result in that light activity over that parking lot underneath that structure in front of the entrance where there's shadows, that same conduct of their shadows passing third-party group stalkers, the people of the state of California who are intentionally present as they're walking past at that entrance and their shadows are appearing on the door. This is the same conduct the state engages in the afternoon, where the supposed fake sun is also over that same parking lot at 646 West Holt Boulevard, also documented over that parking lot at this same exact time at 8 a.m. 646 West Holt Boulevard. It's not right now. It is over right here where I am at the senior center. This is what I'm facing, and I'm right beside what is the library, where the state's fake sun remains all day long as I am physically here. I also want to compare it to when I'm at B&G Plaza, also at this time, and earlier and later, and the state's fake sun is directly over that plaza as I capture it over the sun. Understand my position where I'm standing here, if this was actually the sun, and it is right here over where I'm standing, okay? If I go and walk what is south in order to be at B&G Plaza, I would not be turning around to face north to take a picture of this light source, because the state's light source, the fake sun, migrates south with me. That's why it is in front of me. That's why I'm facing south as I take those pictures, because the state's light source is moving in real time as I walk north, south, east, or west. If this was actually the sun in its location as I'm clearly capturing it directly over the plaza, this is the Ontario Town Square, the Senior Center, 280 North Limit Apartments, the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library, the City Hall, Laverne School of Law. Understand this is monitoring headquarters. This is that which is also incongruent with that. I am not turning my body because this is not actually the sun that is over this plaza, which would require me to face what is north in order to take a picture of it. I'm always facing south because state moves its fake sun from the museum to 150 East Holt parking garage to the B&G Plaza to the ice skating rink, moves it all the way back there directly over those buildings, nowhere even in this direction of the library or the Ontario Town Square or the Senior Center, okay? This is how you are understanding what the state is engaged in. This is not possibly the sun. This is the state engaged in that same stalking conduct. Understand that this is the stalker personified. This is exactly what the people of the state of California are doing. They are intentionally present. They are engaged in hovering, paranoid level, psychotic level stalking, all right, as a group, in the same manner that the state is engaging with this light source. Understanding what the state is doing with light is the understanding of what the people of the state of California are doing, is the understanding of what the public entity, the state of California, is doing. All right? This is psychopath level conduct right here. And this is that which is engaged in by a group. Stalking with light is central to monitoring with communication devices. It is 8:03 a.m. and I just wanted to capture that. That is P.O.C. And the state's light source remains here all day long as well. All right, just another note as to what is federal group stalking and monitoring. This is group stalking by a public entity in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and subsections 2. And this is also that which is to be addressed under very necessary federal legislation that I have designed to address every malicious, i.e. demonic, criminal tactic of a public entity acting directly and vicariously through the people of the state to criminally monitor while they are stalking as a group. License plate 1566880. That is the police. While I was in the city of AZUSA driving on Foothill Boulevard, so we were driving, I believe, west on Foothill Boulevard, which turned eventually into Huntington Drive. It was about 5 to 6 minutes after my video that I captured at, I believe, was around 2:14 p.m. We continued driving west on Foothill Boulevard, stop at a Shell gas station, and I want to say Ontario Police. The police, this is law enforcement, this is the state, engaging in textbook P.O.C., engaging in what is a traffic stop. This is the outward appearance. Understand they are in relevant position aligned to my position at the gas station under the state's light source, which was literally over the Shell gasoline station where I was parked. Third-party group stalkers pulling in and out at that gas station, driving around on the streets of that gas station while impossible light activity literally all along the walls while they are driving past. Understand that's concerted conduct, that's group stalking, while the police are in alignment on the street about maybe 20 feet up, creating substantial light activity as well. That is what is called third party and the state, that's vicarious and direct concerted conduct. Police engaging in traffic stops, police engaging in arresting a third party, stopping them on the curb, having them handcuffed while they're using their vehicles as light, while they're maintaining presence. That is the same group stalking conduct. That is how the state, the public entity, engages in direct monitoring conduct. Obviously, if you're a police officer, you're going to have to engage in that which is to appear as though you're engaging in legitimate, legal, appropriate conduct, which is supposed to be your excuse for presence. And there is no excuse for presence. This is documentation of how a public entity monitors you. And one of those police officers, other than the one which I captured on video, while I'm documenting the existence of what is a sun remaining directly over me as I am inside of Los Angeles County, all right, and the same exact behavioral pattern underway and directly behind me in alignment to my physical position standing outside was police at the drive-thru. All right, that is called group stalking. All right, and that license plate I did not capture, but you're looking at what is representative of what police engage in ceaselessly, okay? The state is always stalking via aircraft. This is already established. So that officer that was engaging in criminal monitoring and acting in concert with a third party that is called criminal facilitation of federal group stalking and monitoring. That's the state enabling people of the state to violate the constitutional and human rights of another American citizen. That's what that is, legally significant. The legal significance of the state's criminal conduct is that. And it's addressed under what needs to be federal law. It's criminal monitoring, and it's also facilitation of criminal monitoring. While they are all engaged in what is sexually violent conduct, molesting with light for the criminal purpose of monitoring, all right? That's P.O.C. And again, this is ending the day with what is the state's light source, which is back on HOLT Boulevard after being captured. And that is just ongoing example of everything that I have already established. The state is literally engaged in systematic conduct. And as I stated before, if I were to go to San Francisco, they are not in relevant position to me now, okay? If I were to go to San Francisco or Rosemead, pick some random city wherever in the state of California, the same pattern of conduct is underway. This is that which the state of California, the government, the public entity itself is practicing, and it is practicing in concert with the people of that state, engaged in psychopath level stalking. Knowledge of who you are, ongoing knowledge of what you are doing, when you are doing it, where you are doing it. Okay, that is ongoing group stalking and monitoring conduct, the same elements remaining present, including the hallmarks. All right, hallmarks being the fake sun. All right, hallmarks being that which is impossible light activity, even if you are to unreasonably, okay, and disingenuously posit that that is the sun, both remaining over 45 South Bondview over the property, for example, all day long from, you're talking 7 a.m. all the way up until about 4 p.m., 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And it's also directly over me at 2:14 p.m. in the city of AZUSA, directly over me at the parking lot, okay? That is not the same whatsoever. That is not the sun. That is a light source for monitoring, massive monitoring in concert with the people that constitute the state. That is P.O.C. It's 5:27 p.m. currently. All right, it is currently 7:17 p.m. As I captured on video as the state was flying over again, engaged in what is stalking and monitoring conduct. Again, the helicopter is in relevant position, flying audibly, meaning creating audible activity, which the state also amplifies under its light source. The state still aiming its light, meaning literally stalking with its light source. This is what I captured on video earlier today. What I want to document right now is just as to P.O.C. And that which is indicative of the predator, of the stalker, of the sex offender, right? The ominous actor, that is the state of California. Understand the people of the state of California are the vicarious aspect of that entity. All right. So in a federal prosecution, you are prosecuting the public entity. The people of the state are inextricably linked. They are engaged in criminal conduct in partnership together in concert. They represent that entity. This is the reality. This is the basis of the federal crimes that they're engaged in together, which is centered on what is group stalking and monitoring. It is operated by the government, and the government is acting vicariously through the people. They are hand in hand. And so what I want to document is I'm referencing the video that I captured earlier, the same that I have captured in tons and tons and tons of videos already published. The state stalking via aircraft, helicopter. As I walk to third-party facilitating venue, Stater Brothers, understand that is a third-party facilitating venue under the definition of what represents the people of the state. It is not inclusive of those third parties who I shall publicly name as individuals. It is inclusive of the guises, any guise under which the same group, the people of the state of California, are engaging in criminal activity, irrespective of any uniform you use. But that logo on that uniform, that company, that business that you are engaging in, that you are bearing on your chest or wearing on your vehicle while you're engaging in that conduct, and also simultaneously systematically monitoring in concert with the government, that represents the people of the state. Understand that, including any venue where you are present, inside of any private residence, inside of any business. Stater Brothers is a grocery store. So it is a business, it's a brand. Understand that they are systematically monitoring at that at that third party facilitating venue that represents the people of the state of California. Okay. This is the definition where the public entity is monitoring. These are all the ways in which that public entity is systematically monitoring you and is intentionally and constantly, that is perpetually present. All right. Everybody in that grocery store, in that parking lot, on that street, all around a relevant position, and in the businesses all around. It's the government, because they're all monitoring in concert together, okay? And that is by design, all right? So with regard to walking to that third-party facilitating venue, Stater Brothers, which is a sex offender, this is representing just one identified actor within the group of that, which is the people of the state of California. Understand, Stater Brothers is not unique. This is speaking to, and this is criminal conduct that is attributed not only to the public entity, the state of California, that is operating this criminal system and facilitating such perverted and predatory and demented sexually violent conduct while you're in a bathroom. That's what I'm referencing. It is also that which is attributed to that entirety of the group. When you're robbing a bank together, you and your partner that are engaged in that criminal conspiracy together are to be prosecuted together with not only robbing the bank, but anybody who was in any way harmed, any other crimes that are reasonably foreseeable to precipitate from that criminal conspiracy that you are engaged in. And you're not only charged for that conspiracy, you're in charge for the actual commission of that crime. This is all to be applied analogously to federal law, which needs to be created, which I intend to enforce fully in ways in which that I have not even addressed yet. Because it is not the proper forum. But this is that which is attributed to the people of the state of California, what Stater Brothers is engaged in. They're engaged in the P.O.C. They are engaged in criminal facilitation of that sexually violent P.O.C. And while walking to that third-party facilitating venue, you have what is the people of the state of California engaged in predatory conduct in a dark black alley. All right, I'm walking to the grocery store. I am being monitored by the government, who was acting through every single person that surrounds in their home, in their car, walking around on the street, inside of any business, whatever it is that they happen to be doing while every single person is monitoring you. This is how the public entity monitors. So at nightfall, while that's the helicopter that I showed you in video was flying over me, okay, you've got a third party. That's and representing the people of the state of California. This is the behavioral pattern. At nightfall, sitting in a dark alley beside what is 513 Vesta Street, as I'm walking down that dark street. And mind you, while the people of the state of California, represented by this group stalker, who is engaged in what is predatory conduct. And how so? You're a group stalker, you're monitoring, you're stalking, and you are present with the state who was also flying directly over the same location in a helicopter. Do you understand how they are molesting with their headlights, which is for the purpose of criminal monitoring, while the state is flying in that helicopter creating audible activity, while the people of the state represented by that group stalking sex offending psychopath in that white van in that dark alley with the helicopter flying over above is aiming headlights onto me, knowing that I'm going to cross that pathway so that he can molest, he or she, that third party, the people of the state of California, can molest me intentionally with light. That is predatory conduct. This is also conduct of what is a stalker. This is a stalker engaged in predatory conduct. This is a stalker that is acting on behalf of a government. This is an entirely threatening stalker who is engaged in predatory conduct, intending to touch. Why are they touching and molesting? Because they're monitoring. This is the P.O.C., by the way. This is what the people of the state of California are engaged in. And do you understand how threatening and ominous that entire scene is? This is what the people of the state of California are engaged in. This is what the government, as I've shown in all my documentation, establishes that they are regularly engaged in flying in circles above me at all times of day and night. All right, while they are what is stalking and monitoring. So I'm describing what the people of the state of California are engaged in. They are entirely threatening group, representing, acting on behalf of the public entity, hiding around in dark alleys with their headlights on, awaiting my arrival in real-time knowledge of my location, engaging in that identical behavioral pattern, acting in concert while the state is present at the same location, engaged in that long-term pattern of stalking and monitoring. That is P.O.C. This is the sexual violence inherent to that pattern of conduct. This is license plate 8TRL 300. And this is a white van again, sitting on the side of the inside of an alley, which is an open space, a pathway where I'm going to have to cross. Stalking, not only is that's the group stalking conduct, that's relevant positioning, that is the perpetual presence in the path, and that is literally as I am walking past that open alleyway, that's called crossing a path. That third-party group stalker is sitting in the alley awaiting for me to cross paths so that they are simultaneously molesting with light, while the state is also flying over the same location as I'm walking down the street. That's concerted conduct. All right, that's the absence of coincidence. That is P.O.C. That is concerted conduct. That is the threat that is waged by a government that is not only threatening in and of itself by virtue of its identity as the government, and that is who is stalking, by police, by airplanes, and by helicopters. That's the government. And that is the government that is acting, stalking in that black alley, molesting with its headlights, acting as a group together with all the other group stalkers who also drove past as I started writing down that license plate. And then as I start writing the license plate, the state is engaging in aiming light all over the place. And this is on a dark street. So all of a sudden you've got like lights shooting all across the yard. This is what I'm facing. I'm facing a front yard as I cross that street, that pathway. And then I noted the third party stalker and sex offender's license plate. And the state engaged in, and the state is the people of the state of California, the psychopaths who know that I'm documenting, engaging in more third parties driving on that street, Vesta, with loud music. This is intentional, malicious conduct. All right, that's the predator. All right, that's the psychopath that knows that I'm documenting another, engages in what is monitoring conduct, but also with real-time awareness that I'm documenting one of its criminal partners. And while these third parties are patrolling on Vesta Street, the state is maintaining presence by helicopter and light is appearing all over the place on the ground. All right, that's the same stalker, the state acting directly, which is what is impossible light activity. That's not coming from headlights. That's not coming from none of the house lights. That's not coming from the street lights. That's the state that's literally aiming light all over the place as I stop to note that stalker's license plate. Understand the state, as you've already shown, I've demonstrated, and they're flying over the library like they were flying over me on Vesta Street and on the freeway today and on San Antonio. But anyway, the state is engaged in ongoing knowledge, and this is built into what is monitoring. So you are not talking about your average criminal, first of all, because of the government, but secondly, you're not talking about your average criminal because of the nature of the crime. Not only are you monitoring, but you're monitoring the evidence to be brought against you in a court of law. So you are literally demonstrating your intent, your diligence, your determination, your pure futile will to continue this, which is not only exposed, it's already published, but that is to be brought against you in a federal court of law. This is a psychopath, all right? That is not one, not only based on the pattern of conduct, but based on the knowledge, all right? You are looking at every facet of the criminal conduct. You are also looking at what they know while they are acting. These are not well people. Not well, not in any sense removing criminal responsibility. They know exactly what they're doing. The intent of the entire system is to be that which is assumed to be absolutely normal conduct when I am stripping all that down and you're seeing it as absolutely abnormal conduct by a group of demented psychopaths who are sex offenders, all right, who are listening to every single word, including listening to my eyeball shift in position, listening to bodily functions, listening to me in the bathroom, engaging in coming inside of the bathroom in order to maintain presence while they surround with activity there so that everyone else outside of the bathroom in relevant position, inside and outside of any building, including the state that is stalking by fire, ambulance, police, and plane and helicopter, can all monitor you as well. This is the psychopath. This is the levels that they accelerate to. And it is sick. And this is just what I want to speak to. License plate 8TRL300 is engaging in what is the behavioral pattern. Understand the stalking with light conduct, the first element, which is light, which is why the state stalks with a light source, which is not the sun remaining directly over everywhere that I am inside of one city, let alone as I walk from one end of street to another street, let alone remaining in one location all day long as I remain at one location all day long, let alone remaining directly over me while I am inside of any vehicle, remaining in the same exact position directly over me, let alone remaining directly over me as I travel from city to city. That is not the sun. All right. And in addition to that, you're also going to compare the times where it's present, oh, okay, so you're directly over that McDonald's where I'm standing at 2:14 p.m. But what about when I was at D Street in Euclid all day long at 2:13 p.m. in the same time? And the state's fake sun was clearly captured directly over D and Euclid. All right, no sun whatsoever is present over both the bus stop hood, which it is clearly captured, and yet you're also over where I captured it today. And then that is called stalking with light. And so this is stripping down what the public entity is engaged in, and understand that is the exact same conduct that the people of the state of California are engaged in. They are intentionally stalking. They are aware of who the target individual is. This is no random presence. This is not random ongoing occurrences of activity that just so happens to be the way in which you monitor. This is the system, and this is speaking to the mindset. This is speaking to the criminality. This is speaking to the malice. All right. This is speaking to the demented level of psychopath conduct. All right. You're talking about a predator stalking, intentionally stalking with the criminal purpose to monitor and to molest, touch all over my person with light. That's predatorial conduct. All right, that is unlawful touching, and the intent to engage in that unlawful touching. And guess what? It is sexual violence, as the entirety of that group engages in that. The entirety of the group. And then the state is stalking with a light source, molesting all day long while they're all monitoring together. All right, they're demented sex offenders. And 8TRL300 engaging in that behavioral pattern. It is a precise example. It is an quintessential example of what the people of the state of California are engaged in, and it is entirely threatening, it's entirely criminal, it's entirely predatorial, it is entirely demented, it is sick, all right, and it is that which is a system that they are ceaselessly engaged in, and doing so up until my knowledge of it, and I have been documenting ever since. And this is where we are today. 8TRL300, that's a license plate representing the people of the state of California. Understand 8TRL300, if it was in an Omnitrans bus, understand it is the same exact P.O.C. And that is exactly the pattern of conduct that commercial vehicle engages in. The same goes for Amazon. The same goes for UPS, USPS. You can name whatever company you want to name. They are engaged in the same behavioral pattern. This is how the public entity monitors. All right. And that is following my arrival. I'm sorry, that is before my arrival to Stater Brothers at 646 West HOLT. And I am seen on the security cameras, which I reference every time I enter and exit, speaking to what is P.O.C. As a means of documentation. Every single person, and understand documentation with regard to every third-party facilitating venue, not only where I am present, but also where I'm not present, because it's relevant for purposes of monitoring that is ongoing. All right. So I reference the cameras, and I am seen exiting after I re-enter to point out what is federal group stalking and monitoring conduct while they're casually just conversing, right, in the store. Near the register, the lottery area right by the east entrance, they're monitoring. And the girl is standing with her phone on the opposite side while they're engaged in what is presence. This is why you are getting past. It does not matter that they're inside of a grocery store. It does not matter that they're wearing a uniform. It does not matter if you're shopping inside of the grocery store. You're in relevant position. That is criminal facilitation for a public entity's ability to monitor. And not only that, that's federal prosecution. There is no excuse. There's nothing that you're going to claim to get out of that. That's how the public entity monitors. And you're going to be prosecuted for that, period. But aside from that, I've gone even further than that and shown you how the people of the state of California are engaged in entirely intentional and sick, malicious conduct. All right. And that's shown by the behavioral pattern. All right. That is not a coincidence. The essence of a pattern, the beauty of a pattern is showing the similarity of conduct. And this is in any place. All right. This is at all times. All right. That's P.O.C. And so I am seen as I re-enter in order to point that out. At 6:57 p.m., I'm exiting that Stater Brothers venue. Stater Brothers represents the people of the state of California. Understand that. Helicopter flying over me while I'm en route to that venue. Understand I'm being monitored at that venue. That is Stater Brothers representing the people of the state of California. Stater Brothers is a sex offender. Stater Brothers is engaged in criminal monitoring. Stater Brothers is engaged in criminal facilitation of monitoring American citizens. Stater Brothers is engaged in criminal facilitation of sexual violence of American citizens whom they monitor and facilitate being monitored in concert with the government, the public entity. That's the reality of the criminal conduct that the people of the state of California via Stater Brothers, a third-party facilitating venue, is engaged in. And they shall be prosecuted for it. Understand, this is the template for the prosecution of every third party that I have specifically named. Prosecuting the people of the state of California, which is the vicarious actor of that public entity, meaning the people of the state of California is the defendant, okay? You are prosecuting the entirety of that entity, and the government, the state, the public entity cannot do it without the people who are surrounding, engaging in that identical behavioral pattern. And so what I have done, though, because for purposes of making an example, I have named as many individually as possible, because it's not going to be grouped into just the people of the state. We're going to individually name them on the public stage, as many as possible. That's the purpose. You do not need, nor does the target individual need, to go through the laborious task of documenting as many third-party individuals and or companies, businesses, whatever guises they're in. You do not have to go through that task. That is something that is unrealistic. I have gone above, based on the fact that federal group stalking and monitoring is a legal concept to be expounded upon, to be explained, to be thoroughly described, so that it can be understood. And number two, to demonstrate how it is in no way impervious to federal prosecution. And number three, showing how federal group stalking and monitoring, which is the term because it is under federal law, this federal question, jurisdiction, group stalking and monitoring, period, is a real dilemma in the United States. It is not a fallacy, and it is conduct by a government, as opposed to the failed argument of what are group stalkers, or of what are literally the government speaking out of the mouths of these puppets, which are monitoring you, the people of the state, saying that group stalking is focused on people, a whole bunch of strangers who are stalking you, which actually they are stalking you, but it is premised that that's not the correct statement at all. Group stalking is about a public entity, the government, that's monitoring. That's why it is stalking as a group. And it is stalking as a group both directly, planes, helicopters, police, fire, and ambulance, and vicariously through the people of the state. That's a very real criminal system. It is very real. And I'm showing you all the ways in which you prosecute that public entity that's speaking through group stalkers, that's acting through group stalkers, that's criminally stalking and monitoring you through group stalkers. That's how you do it. And that's the multifaceted purposes of what I have engaged in. And the ordinary target individual does not have to. This is establishing precedent. This is establishing the reality of the system such that no other target individual will have to go through many of the things that the public entity engages in which there is no law to address, in which there is actually nothing to identify what exactly they're doing. You have to be able to hone in and discern what the public entity is engaged in and how they are acting maliciously. It's demonic activity, but you can sideswipe that term if you're not familiar, if you're not comfortable, whatever. It is demonic activity. Understand the demonic operates maliciously. All right. The demonic is that which is highly demented. It engages in that which is unfathomable to what is a quote unquote normal person. I mean, and understand, it wasn't fathomable to me. It was literally the pattern of conduct making itself apparent to me. The more I documented it, the more it kept resurfacing. That was not me conjuring up some idea. That was literally the conduct occurring over and over and over again as I go to different places at all times. All right. And so this is behavior amongst a group that is identical. Different face, different name. All right. The specific identity might change. The address might change. The license plate number might change. But the conduct is identical. That's recognition of a pattern. Right? And then there are the criminal acts of obstruction of justice. This is how the public entity operates. It operates through the people. It operates through the companies, the businesses, the institutions. That's how a government monitors and then engages in trying to obstruct its own exposure and prosecution. And we're not doing that. We're not doing that. This is how you prosecute. This is how you document. And this is how you analyze under federal law. Everything they're doing has legal significance. All right, and that is predatory conduct, molesting with light, intending to touch, because, and they have to, they engage in the same thing with the impossible light activity. It is not only the fact that it's not coming from the sun, the fact that that is not the sun, but then also that would not be occurring from the sun. I'm talking about the impossible light activity all over the walls and the asphalt, as I've shown in video, and as I engage in ongoing documentation of that impossible light activity, which is the state aiming and placing light, all right, all over the place, all over the surfaces, while third parties happen to be present, okay? This is that same touching, and it is unlawful. It serves an unlawful purpose. And while you're touching, you're a stalker and you're touching and you're sitting in dark alleys waiting to touch. That's predatory. Okay. And then you go into the bathroom and they're corporately listening. They're even going to the extent of coming in the bathroom to make sure somebody stays in there with you. Those are not ordinary people. You're going to be prosecuted for every single thing. The people of the state of California, and facilitated by the government, who is hand in hand with that criminal activity. Helicopter following me from here to there is relation enough, by the way. That's relation enough. As to the ongoing criminal system that is ceaselessly underway. Okay, the state's stalking conduct is what prefaces what the people of the state of California are engaged in, and that goes for that goes for federal group stalking monitoring. Period. It's the government that's monitoring you. All right. Anyway, it's 7:41 p.m. and I just wanted to point that out. That is P.O.C. That is the state that is stalking with sirens in the background. That's a psychopath listening to me document, listening to me describes its criminal activity. And that was also the state flying directly over the same location where you saw the state flying by helicopter, flying over by plane. That's called audible activity. That's called stalking by the state that is acting directly. Group stalkers maintain presence. All right. It's 7:41 p.m. and that is P.O.C.